All right, so today we're going to talk about Chapter 7, which is Equations and Inequalities. Our goal today is that you can write and solve equations and inequalities based on real life situations. So this is kind of our overall chapter goal, not our daily goal. Our daily goal today is that you can write an equation. Okay, if you were given a phrase or a real world problem, I want you to be able to write an equation that would help you solve that problem. So before we start talking about equations, first I want to help you to understand the concept of an equation. Okay? The root word of equation is equa, which means equal to or the same. So if I have a balance, think about kind of what a balance would look like, or a scale. On a scale, you have two sides that you can put weight on. On that scale, in order for it to be balanced or remain level, you have to have the same amount of weight on both sides. If you put an unequal amount of weights on either side, the scale would tip one way or the other. So we have to make sure that they remain balanced. Well, equations are the exact same. In an equation, like 2 times 3 equals 6. This equation is balanced because on the left side, if we split it in half, 2 times 3 is 6. If we simplify this expression over here, is 6, and 6 is already a simplified expression, so now we have 6 equals 6. So both of these sides are equivalent or equal. That's why this is called an equation, because 2 times 3 is equivalent to 6. So in this chapter, we're going to be talking about equations and inequalities, and I want you to be able to keep that in mind, this idea of a scale, and that with an equation we're trying to keep both sides balanced or level. Okay, equation. An equation is a math sentence that uses an equal sign to show that two expressions are equivalent. Let me zoom this in just a little bit. Okay, so if we use an equal sign to show that two sides are equivalent, let's show you a few examples. Again, we have 2 times 3 equals 6, 3 minus 1 equals 2, 5 plus 2 equals 7, and 6 divided by 3 equals 2. All of these are examples of equations because they all have an equal sign. That equal sign shows that two expressions are equivalent. This side is equivalent, this side right here is equivalent to this side. This side is equivalent to this side. So we are trying to make sure that we have a balance on an equation. The equal sign is like our scale. Both sides must be balanced. Okay, notice that the expressions on both sides, so the expressions on both sides of the equal sign are equivalent. You will also see equations that use variables. Okay, remember, a variable is an unknown value. However, this does not change that both sides of an equation must be equivalent. For example, 2 times a equals 6. Well, in order for this to be balanced or equal on both sides, what does a have to be in order to be equal to 6? Well, we know that a must be 3. Okay, 3 minus c equals 2. In order for this statement to be true and to be balanced on both sides, what does c have to be? Well, c must be 1, because 3 minus 1 is 2. In order for them to be balanced on both sides, this would have to be a 1. What would y have to be? You're right, it would have to be a 5 in order to equal 7. 6 divided by x equals 2. So what would x have to be? X must be 3. So having this idea in mind that even when we're using variables, both sides of an equation must be balanced or equal. Okay, let's review some of these important operation words that we will see when we're using equations. Addition words, you're going to see the word sum or the sum of, added to, total, plus, increased by, or more than. When we're talking about subtraction, you're going to see the phrases or words decreased by, minus, the difference of, take away, less than. Okay, on the multiplication side, we're going to see the product of, times, twice, double. You might see the word of or each. Also, you might see the word per, which might signal or give us a clue that we might want to multiply. Okay, what about division? If we're going to divide, you might see phrases or words like divided by, quotient of, per, each. You might see split or groups or separate. Equal is our new portion of this chapter. When we're working with equations, you will always have an equal sign, and you will always see the word is or the word was that will represent the equal sign in your equation. Okay, let's flip to the back side. Okay, remember the word is, not work, word. The word is indicates an equal sign in an equation. For example, 8 more than a number n is 17. So 8 more than means addition, and the word is means equal to 17. The difference of, well, difference means subtract. So the difference of x and 4, so x minus 4, is means equals 3. The last one, 27 is, so 27 equals 3 times a number y. So 3 times a number y would be represented by 3n or 3y, or 3y equals 17. Or sorry, not 17, 27. Okay, I would like you to pause and try the next 3 on your own. And we're going to move on to the next section. We use equations to help us solve real-world problems all around us. Let's try a few of them together and then practice. So, as you look at these two rectangles, or this rectangle, it says that the perimeter of this rectangle is 32 centimeters. Perimeter means the distance around the outside. So if we are finding the distance around the outside, means that we are going to be adding. Okay, perimeter means we are going to add the distances around the outside. So if we are going to add all of these sides together, the answer has to be 32. So I might come up with an expression first of, well, I have 4 here, plus a 4 here, plus x on top, and an x on bottom, equals 32. Well, I know that I can combine 4 plus 4 is 8, and x plus x is 2x equals 32. So this is my final equation. Remember, I'm not trying to solve the equation, I just want to write an equation that would help me solve the problem. Again, this one says perimeter, which means to add of a triangle. So we have 3 sides to a triangle, and the perimeter equals 20. So if I'm going to add together all 3 sides, we get x plus x plus x equals 20 inches. Well, we know that x plus x plus x is the same thing as 3x. So we can rewrite that equation as 3x equals 20 inches. And that's your equation. Now I would like you to spend some time on number 1 and 2 on the bottom. Read these 2 problems, and then I would like you to write an equation that would represent each of these real-world problems and how you could solve it. I do not need an answer. I just want an equation. Remember, an equation must have an equal sign. So both of these equations must have an equal sign. I will even give you a hint or a clue. This one says that if you spend $16, so $16 is the total that goes at the end of the equal sign. And on the second question, the perimeter is 320 feet, so that means that 320 is, again, your total. So now you need to find the equation, the rest of the equation that goes on the other side of the equal sign. I want you to try that on your own and check it with me when you come back to school.